G'day everybody, hello, I'm Simon. Simon Stribling is my name and welcome to Pro Jazz Tips. I better bring that microphone in. And today guys, we're going to show you a couple of little exercises that I do on my trumpet. And this is basically what I call minimalism and its maintenance in between performances. So I've been camping for 2 weeks. I've literally picked up the horn once in about 3 days ago, and I have a couple of gigs coming up this weekend. I'm just going to show you a couple of exercises that I've learned that gets me very strong very quickly. And I also want you to remember this, guys, that muscles have memory. So the more you do this, then you have a break. Yes, there's the fear of like, oh my gosh, I'm going to lose all my chops. And I do remember a old saying that my trumpet teacher used to say to me: if you don't practice for 1 day, you know about it. And if you don't practice for 2 days, the crowd knows about it. And I've sort of given up on that quote, because I am pretty much a minimalist kind of trumpet performer and practicer. So I'll show you a couple of tricks that work for me, guys, and hopefully this helps. And we might build a whole series on this, and then I would really appreciate your feedback below. But let's get on with it, guys. So the first thing I'm going to mention is I've got one of these Yamaha practice mutes. And this is the silent brass Yamaha. I did put a link in a previous video. I'll put another one below. This is a fantastic little mute, and I've got this because I've literally got neighbors just here. So this is just good. It also adds a bit more resistance, so it's better for endurance and getting stronger pretty quickly. So I'm just going to show you a couple of tricks that I do, and you can do this with a oboe drone, but if you're just out in the middle of nowhere, or you're sitting at your office and you've got 5 minutes to spare, this is fantastic. And I'm not going to be getting into the Caruso method of breath, tongue, tongue, and that's pretty advanced stuff. This is just how to get strong quickly with minimal work and get you gig ready. And also a little disclaimer, guys, there's nothing will suffice for actually doing a gig, because once you do a gig, that gets you exponentially stronger as well. And this is a good one to do in between gigs. I wouldn't recommend you do this on the day of a performance or a gig, because you will find that you get face fatigue. And guys, another suggestion is I would do this the closer you get to your gig. You want to taper off possibly on the last day before the gig. But what I would often do is just leave my trumpet sitting around like this with the mute in here, and I'll pick it up whenever I go past. And 2, 3, 4 days before a gig, like this weekend, I'll do this probably 2, 3, maybe 4 times in a day. And I'm just going to show you quickly how I do it. And there's nothing to it. There's no rocket science. And you go until your face basically falls off. And here we go. This works for me, and I am pretty sure you'll benefit from this. This is not a technical exercise, but I will throw in some little things that I do in between just for scales leading up. So the first thing we're going to do is start on the G on the trumpet. I'm just going to move this microphone here. And it doesn't have to be breath, tongue, or anything like that. It's just this. So I held that second one for about a value of 8, maybe 12 beats, something like that. It doesn't really matter. But G. G sharp. A. B flat. B. C. C sharp. D. E flat, E, F, okay, you can see my face going red, and guys, that is way harder than you think, and you can hear the notes shaking on the horn. And one of the hardest things that I've ever done as a professional trumpet player, musician for the last 35 years, is playing hymns in a brass band, because it's all about playing those long, full-valued notes. So that's a really good exercise. So do that and just go until you start feeling failure, because you'll find that, and you don't need to play with pressure, guys. We're all about minimizing pressure. And so once you get to sort of, a note that you feel like I'm struggling here, just cut it, okay? And remember about breathing through your diaphragm. So see your diaphragm as a balloon. Use that as your air, not your chest, okay? So that's a whole other kettle of fish, and we'll discuss that in another video. All right, so once I've done that, I do a little bit of buzzing, just let my chops sort of calm down. And then the next thing I do is this little exercise, starting on a C. So we're going to be doing triads. And what a triad is, in simple terms, it's what they know, what's known as a 1-3-5. So in the key of C, it would be C. The third note of C is E. And then the fifth note of C is G. So holding them for basically 2 beats each, and then the last note you hold for 4 beats, and each time you drop down to a bottom G and hold that for a minimum of 4 beats. And what that does, guys, it just emphasizes, and it will tell you straight away whether you're playing with too much pressure or not. And if you are, you will not be able to hit that bottom G. And then you've got to reassess and go, okay, well, I'm playing with too much pressure here. I need to back off. So I'll give you a bit of a demonstration. This is a little more advanced if you're just a beginner. So I would start by just doing those long notes every day like we just did, and practice your scales. But if you're still with me and you want to try the next thing, this is what I do, and it seems to work. This is great. So here we go. So the first thing I do is just sort of leading up and go, okay, well, I better play some scales. So the first triad is going to be C, E, G. And here we go. So really hold that bottom one, the bottom G. You might even hold it for a measure of 8 measures. Okay, so we've just done the C one, and then the next one is going to be C sharp, which is C sharp, F, G sharp. And then I often play the scale leading up to it, just so I just sort of get muscle memory for playing my scales. The other thing I wanted to mention is you can tongue the first note, but then I want you to breath up to the second stage of the triad, and then the third as well. So tongue, breath, breath. Okay, so the next one we want to do is D, which is D, F sharp, and A, and play the scale leading up. So on. So the next one is E flat, which is the E flat scale, which is E flat, G, B flat. And remember, always go down to that bottom G. You're really seeing the vulnerabilities of a trumpet player here, guys, and I'm not going to edit this out because it is what it is. And it's all about transparency and helping each other. And like I say, I've been on holidays, and this is a really great exercise. All right, the next one is E, which is E, G sharp, and B. Yay, well done, guys. If you're still with me, congratulations. That is fantastic. And then you get the picture now. So we just keep going up as high as we can go. So we'll go to the next one, which is F, which is F, A, and C. And what they call it in the trumpet world is a top C. Yay, well done, guys. All right, so now the next one, this is where it becomes a bit of fun, is I actually play, so it's F sharp, what is it? F sharp, A sharp, or B flat, so technically it's A sharp, C sharp. So what I actually will do is now I can get down to the bottom F sharp, is I'll play the scale run for 2 octaves up to that F sharp. Yay! All right, now the G. I'm going to do the same thing, starting on the bottom G. So it's G, B, natural, D. All right, next one is A flat, which is A flat, C, natural, E flat. Starting on the very bottom A flat, 2 octave scale. And then what I would suggest also, guys, the higher you go, the longer you hold that bottom G. It just gives your face a bit of respite, and it's also just resetting your chops. It's also sending a synapse to your brain going, okay, overall, we're playing the mechanics of the horn well, so we're not using too much pressure going from these high notes up here, where's the screen there, to the bottom note down there. All right, so now this is where it gets tricky, because I think what the hardest note on the trumpet is the E above top C. The harmonics are weird up there. So that's going to be an A, right? So the triad of A major is A, C sharp, E natural. So let's do the 2 octaves, and you're going to hear me do some cacking on this one. Here we go. Woohoo! We did it. All right, we're going to do one more, because I usually only like to go to the top F. Top F is sort of the top of my range anyway. Sometimes I might do a G, but I usually like to sort of keep it sort of top F and below. And also, you want to be aware of the top note too. You want to play with feeling. You want to play it like you love that note, whether it's like you play like Roy Eldridge or Louis Armstrong or Maynard Ferguson, or an opera singer like Pavarotti or Caruso. They are just singing with passion on those top notes. So you want to play them with some passion, feeling, and love, not just sort of squirt them out because, hey, I can get that note. So really think about it mentally, about how do I make that top note sound pretty. All right, here we go. The big one. Fingers crossed, guys. We're going to do the B flat, Triad, which is B flat, D, and F. And then we'll go back to the bottom G. And if we can nail that, we'll call it a day. Woohoo! Here we go. Woohoo! We did it. All right, guys, that's it. That's basically my 5 minutes of warm-ups and strengthening exercises to get your gig ready. Do it a couple of times a day if you can, leading up to a gig. Once is fine. Do not do it on a day of a gig. Leave a comment below. Let me know how you go with it. It's a lot of fun. And while you're there, guys, tell all your friends about Simon. Crazy Simon and Pro Jazz Tips, and please hit like and subscribe. You're awesome. Have a fantastic day. See you later. Woohoo!